Live Life Being Adored, the art of celebrating everything there is in life, a podcast all about hosting, having, and attending amazing celebrations. Gathering matters, and you'll join me, award-winning event designer and publisher of Adore magazine, Kat Minks, as we delve into unique ways to have celebrations, why we have them, and the unique stories behind them, including places, people, themes, unique inspiration, meaningful events, and more. We touch on all kinds of celebrations and facets of them, from weddings, award shows, corporate gatherings, social events, kids' parties, birthdays, anniversaries, and the art of celebrating our gifts, purpose, and what we were created to do, which is gather. Hey everyone, Kat Minks here with another episode of Live Life Being Adored. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so thrilled that we are in 2024, new beginnings, the holidays are over, and we can all focus on the gatherings and celebrations that we plan on having, hosting, or attending in the new year. So with that said, one of the things that I have some experience in is venues. Having been an event planner and designer for many years, along with working behind the scenes as an operations person, salesperson at a hotel and event space, I have a lot of advice to offer to those of you that are thinking about having an event space of your own. So I made some notes and specifically about, the very basics. If you are thinking about opening an event space, or if you're an event planner or just anybody that is considering this, I have to say there are some people that I've run into as of the last 5 years, especially, that have no experience in events whatsoever that want to open their own event space. And while that is exciting, to be an entrepreneur and purchase, or lease a space to be able to do this in, I think there's some things that should be talked about. So having been in the event world for some time, I want to share some very basic tips and things to look out for, both as somebody that wants to open a venue, and if you're just an entrepreneur in general, things to think about when you are starting your business. So the first thing that I am going to talk about, if you are thinking about opening your own event space, is what do you need as a venue? What are the basics that you need to kick off your event space? And once you've found your space, which if you're looking for a space, you need to find, spaces can be smaller, they can be larger. It just depends on what you feel is manageable for you. Not all commercial spaces allow you to sublease to other people. So that's something that you want to make sure that you look into before you decide you're going to rent a space to rent it out to other people. You have to make sure that that's allowed. But after that, after you've found your space, or maybe you're building your space, which is really exciting, the other thing that you need to make sure your city allows is your space zoned for what you're going to be doing for having events. And a lot of cities, you'll want to talk with your health inspector or food inspector to find out what would be allowed for you to have for food and beverage in your space. Most of the time, what you can do is, if you're not a caterer and you don't plan on having a catered food business inside your venue, is you can allow any outside caterer or catered food as long as it's prepared by a caterer. So if you have a smaller event space, what you can allow is like Sam's Club trays or Costco trays, or food from an outside vendor, as long as they hold a commercial food license. And like, for example, I have toyed with the idea of opening my own venue for years. And when I met with our local inspector, he told me that, anything that comes packaged is fine. And that included being able to have like a Keurig machine out for people to have coffee and, bottled waters for sale, or, those types of things were fine to sell or offer. And anything else had to be through a licensed caterer. So that does include alcohol. And that is a big topic when it comes to venues, especially now with the rise of bar service companies being so popular. A lot of bar service companies are not licensed to sell alcohol. Therefore, they can only pour it if all the alcohol has been pre-purchased. So if that's a route that you are going to allow in your venue and to have, like for example, the fancy bar carts or bar trailers, a lot of the times they don't have a bar service retail liquor license. And that's a special license. It costs a lot of money to get for caterers. I know this because I worked in sales for a catering company that did outside catering, and it's a very expensive license to have. And so a lot of caterers don't have it. And some of these bar service companies just are starting out. They don't have that type of license. They don't have the money to get it. So it takes like almost a year to really get it approved in a lot of cases. So it's a long process and it's very expensive. So if you are a venue that's thinking about getting a liquor license of your own, just expect that a lot of times it has to go through a city council approval. There's lots of legal and filing fees and inspections and things like that you have to pass. So that's the lowdown on liquor licenses. So just be careful of that. Who you align yourself with is my second point. So that kind of tags on to what we just talked about with the bar catering people. But also when you think about what types of vendors you're going to align yourself with in terms of maintenance, cleaners, who will be your referral network, your photographers, florists, planners, other venues. Really think about what that network is going to be, what's going to be your referral funnel, and your sales funnel. Just know that if you are a venue owner, you're an operations person. And I've run into this a few times with newer venue owners because I've found quite a few that want to be the chief cook and bottle washer. And I think you can do that when you have a very large team. But if you have to be the main person that runs the show and nobody else on your team is available to do it, not only will you get burnt out, but your referral network will become smaller the more that you decide to do in-house. So just think about that. Whereas if you are referring out other planners or coordinators or florists and decor people, if you're farming all that out, it adds to your referral network. Granted, you are not going to be getting the money for those options if you want to have those as add-on options. But the thing is, you first and foremost, you're the venue owner, you're the operations person. And therefore, it is your responsibility to make sure that the events that you book happen, and they happen with your venue being clean and upkept and no emergencies happening, and having someone available in emergency or on hand on that day for your clients or the planners to refer to, in, just issues of how do you dim the lights? How do you turn on the speakers? Just all those things. And if you are trying to sell all these other items and your venue becomes secondary, then you're not going to get referrals. You're not going to have great business. You're not going to have good reviews. And you're not going to get returning customers. So definitely keep this in mind when you are planning what your venue will be and what your business plan will be. My third tip, if you are looking to open your own venue, is to know the ins and outs of your property. Um, to know exactly where things are at all times, extension cords, outlets, breaker boxes, all those kinds of things are really important. If you are leasing your space from a commercial property, like a warehouse or just a space, office space turned event space, that's very popular nowadays, or church, old churches are becoming event spaces now too. And therefore, if you need to know, like, you know, the water shut off for your water. If something happens in a bathroom, you need to know, and to have it, like I said, a great maintenance person to call in emergencies. Make sure that if you have an outdoor space that you are selling for ceremonies or dinners, and you're suggesting that people put up tents outside, then you have to make sure that you tell people that subfloors are necessary if there's no concrete slab, in the event that there's rain. And because I can tell you, I've seen some events where they had like a sudden storm pop up that day or a few hours before the event, and tents flood and tables tip over and it's a mess. So you definitely want to make sure that you know the ins and outs of your property, knowing the lay of the land. Security is always a concern of a city, to make sure that you understand that when you are having several people in a property, whether it be leased or owned, the city wants you to know that if you are inviting people to come onto your property and they can drink, obviously you'll need insurance or liability policy, and any caterer, liquor caterer should have that too. And you should request to see it, especially for food and beverage. But what you will want to get to know and get a real good feel for is how the city feels about the security officer issue, and at what point do you need one for events. Like most of the time cities will say that you need a security officer if your event is more than 200 people. Some it's less, sometimes it's all the time, no matter what. And you as a venue owner have the opportunity to just say, you know, we don't want to mess around with it. As long as there's liquor served, there always has to be a security officer on duty. And then you just pass that fee to the client. I know a lot of the venues that I've worked with or for, is they just get a fee from their county or city of the off-duty officer that they have. They come in uniform usually and stand in the room usually around towards the end of the night. Before that, they're usually parked in the parking lot. Sometimes they just sit in the parking lot. So it all depends. Okay, so fourth tip for people that are looking to open a venue or have and need, you know, just basics like, I decided I want to do this. I have my space and now I don't know what I'm going to do. So my fourth tip for if you're thinking about having a venue is create a marketing plan. One of my biggest tips whenever I work with other businesses, consulting with them, so I consult with venues from time to time about sales, marketing, their space, their design. And one of the biggest things that I see people do is they put too much focus on a monetized plan right out of the gate. And the whole idea is to not go broke before you even open. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is if your sales or operations person can put together or you as an owner can put together a styled shoot with another event planner. You know, they usually have networks of florists. I know I've been asked to do different photo shoots where I just create like a floral piece or provide the rentals and decor for something to be shot by a photographer in a venue, and the venue uses the photos for their marketing. And that is usually
great for all the parties involved. It does take some work. It can be expensive. Some of the photo shoots I've been a part of, that I've created, I've charged people to be a part of. You could also create a photo shoot and let a bunch of photographers come and shoot your space and charge them to be there, as a way to make an incentive for them to show up. But also, your time is valuable, and you never want to be giving your time away. So the other advantage, though, the trade-off is if you invite a bunch of photographers to come shoot your space of this beautiful styled shoot that you've created with these other collaborators, then you get all those photos for content marketing. So that is a great bonus incentive. But also creating a content marketing calendar, or, at least 3 months out, really know when the prime booking times are. So for example, today is January 3rd, and therefore we just got out of Christmas, and we all know that Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, and Valentine's are the prime booking season. So if you are thinking about opening a venue, you want to make sure that you're able to give tours right in that prime time, or right after that prime time. So, and that's why you'll see like a lot of bridal fairs happen January, February, March, and then they happen again usually in the fall. And those are usually the prime times for bridal fairs, because that's engagement season is right in those times. So one of the things that I know a lot of people always say is when I first open, I'm going to do an open house. An open house is a kickoff where you let people come into your space and view it, and you show everybody the amenities. Sometimes you might have vendors there if you're a venue, really show off like the beauty of your space, right? And all the amenities, and people get to meet you because you want to build a relationship with your community. Well, a lot of people ask me, should I do any free events, and should I allow any free events as free advertisement for my venue? Here's my feeling on that. Never do anything for free, ever. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you should just give your time away. I think our time is too valuable. I think if you really believe in your product and your service, then you should never give it away. And a lot of people say, well, what about for my friend or my aunt or whatever? And my feeling about this is your family and your friends are typically not going to be your clients. They're always going to expect a deal. They're always going to expect something more than what you would get from a general paying customer. I think that you can do things on trade, because I don't think that bartering devalues your product or your service. And you can do that several ways. You can do a direct trade with somebody, like a photographer. You could do it through a barter group. I belong to a barter group. It's worldwide, and I can use whatever services or products that I sell on the barter group website or through them. I get barter dollars to use in a network of 25,000 businesses. So that makes sense, and it's not giving something away for free. And sometimes I will hear people say that they do things for free for their church. And I think that maybe if you decide you do a once a year thing. But the thing is, if you're doing it for a church, because they're a nonprofit, you can still create an invoice that shows the value of what they received, based on your regular charges that you would charge any other customer. And if you decide that you want to make it totally free to them, you can make it like a donation. That's something that you could do instead of a free event for somebody. So I am very much of this school that you just don't give away your products or your services away for free when it comes to something that you do for a living. My last tip, well, I have a couple. Okay, so my fifth tip for your planning of your new venue that you're opening is amenities. What kinds of amenities are you going to offer your clients and customers that's going to set you apart and make it a space that people want to book and refer? Some of these amenities could mean a small styled getting ready room that's really pretty to look at for if you're going to be able to host weddings. If you're not doing weddings and you're doing much smaller, more intimate or community gatherings, or it's not that kind of a space, then you want to think about what other amenities you could offer. It could be as simple as a preferred vendor list, where you have a list of people that's prepared, of people that you know or that you've interviewed and vetted for your clients to hire when they come into your space, and you can have that be mandatory or not. I always recommend, because there are new people coming into the industry all the time, that you leave an open list, and that it's an option for your clients. It's just a added amenity rather than a mandatory use list. But the other thing that you could do is have decor on hand to give to your clients to use at no charge or as an upgrade for an extra fee, and have it be worth their while. And also you get prettier pictures then if you have control over, or some control over, what kind of decor is getting put in the rooms. Then you can definitely have a lot more pictures to choose from when it comes to having your room fully decorated, as opposed to seeing a space or seeing your space and it's just white tablecloths and pine cones on the table all the time. That's a little bit, those aren't going to be great photos that you can show people. Oh, look at my space and look at how people decorate it, and there's nothing there because they can't afford it or something. So if you offer some decor upgrades or complimentary decor, that's always a great incentive or amenity. Like I said, the vendor list is a great thing. Parking, nice bathrooms, those are also wonderful things. A pre-function space, if you have a space that can be divided into a cocktail space and then a dinner or luncheon space, that's two different spaces, that's an amenity. Otherwise, you could provide complimentary room flips if you do weddings and you allow ceremonies and receptions to take place. You could say, hey, we'll flip the room for you. It's part of your fee or part of the venue fee. That's an amenity. A lot of venues don't do that. They make people do it themselves unless they're like a hotel or something. So that's a really great amenity. You could also offer china, flatware, and glassware. Like I said, the decor thing, but some people just offer like a basic plate, fork, napkin situation. So that's something that you could offer as an amenity. Another thing is valet parking. If you're charging enough for your space and you have a great valet company in your city that you could refer or to have as an option, that's a great thing for venues to have. Or also shuttle bus. So if you have a partnership with a hotel in the area or a transportation company, and you can offer some kind of a discount if they go through you when they book, that's a great incentive and amenity to offer to your potential clients. And my last and final tip that I'm going to go through is what you can allow and what you should allow. This isn't going to be like this long laundry list, because there is a long laundry list of things that you could say, I don't allow that. Some of the key ones that most venues don't allow are confetti, pampas grass. That's a new one that we saw come out of 2023 and too, is because the pampas grass like sheds everywhere and makes huge mess, and it's so hard to get up and out and clean. So a lot of venues quit allowing it inside. So to keep that in mind. I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's another one. Any kind of adhesives. So this is something, because I do floral and decor, I'm really familiar with what types of adhesives you can use on a wall that will be removable. Most of the time, a lot of venues will offer like the command hooks, because the trailing vines up a wall trend in floral happened, and so a lot of places are allowing the command hooks, and then also, but usually no like tape or adhesives on sheetrock or painted walls. That's typically the standard thing. And florists and decorators are very well versed in trying to or in having tools to affix things to other areas, like zip ties and all different, string, twine. We use all different kinds of stuff. Typically, you want anything that's brought into your venue to be just freestanding on its own and not attached to anything that you own. Also, if you have very high ceilings, and another amenity that you might want to think about obtaining is a lift to let your clients have their license or have their insured vendors go up. Other venues I know carry their own insurance, have the employee that will put the trusses down lower so that the florist can hang whatever they need to hang, and then they lift the trusses up high enough so it's up overhead. I think that pretty much covers some of the basic things that I wanted to chat with you about. If you are looking to venture into the event venue ownership business, I congratulate you if this is something that you are looking to do. And obviously, if you have a new venue and you want some feedback or some guidance in consulting with it, Adore offers those services. We consult with different types of businesses in hospitality, and would be happy to chat with you about it. But if you are going on this journey all by yourself, I just congratulate you. It's a big feat to do this and to be a venue owner, but it can be so rewarding. Any aspect, I think, of the event industry is very rewarding, because so much of what we do is offer some sort of lightness in life, in celebrating all the things there are to celebrate in life. And so I hope that you find as much reward in being in this new journey as a lot of people in the event industry have. So with that said, I'm Kat Minks. I hope that you enjoyed your holidays. I hope that you subscribe and listen to us in the future episodes that we're going to be having for 2024. We're going to be going through all the things there is to celebrate in life, in love, in our passions. And I can't wait to talk about and share with you some of our projects that we're working with. And don't forget to grab your new copy of Adore magazine. There she is. And there's actually, here, let me show you. There's two covers if you're watching. You can see. We're so happy that we have the new issues in hand. We're working on this next issue, which is going to be called The Waiting Issue. And we're going to be talking about all the different ways that we wait in life. And I can't wait to share that with you. And I hope you have a great day. Until next time, live life being adored.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Live Life Being Adored. Make sure you like and subscribe our podcast or our YouTube channel, and check out Adore Magazine at adoremegonline.com and Adore Productions, adore-productions.com. Have a great day and live life being adored until next time.